everybody. Happy Thursday. Today is April 20th, 420. Currently, stock market is down with the S&P currently down by 0.7%. The NASDAQ, as of right now, is down by 0.9%. Tesla just reported their earnings yesterday after hours, and their stock is down by about 6-7% to 166, down from a close at 180. So pretty rough market for Tesla earnings. And that follows Netflix earnings the day before, which ended up sending their stock down by 3%. So we've had two tech stocks that have reported earnings so far. Both of them were good in terms of the headline numbers. Tesla ended up meeting their earnings and then beating their revenue. Netflix ended up beating their earnings and their revenue, but both of these stocks are down by 3% for Netflix and about 7% for Tesla. So this is probably going to create a lot of anxiety around tech earnings in the next couple of weeks, considering that both of these companies did well on headline numbers. If there is a miss in one of these big tech earnings, obviously that would send the stock down a lot, but obviously we don't know what company is going to miss earnings. So some names to watch out for. Apple, I don't think would be the one to post worse than expected earnings, just because they have so much money available to them, so much cash that they can buy back their shares in order to prop up their earnings per share. But you might want to look into like Meta would be a good example for this. I think it already is down about $3 or like 1.3% or something like that. So you don't have as good of an opportunity as you did yesterday. But this is my thesis that I'm building over the next couple of weeks for tech earnings. I think that one of these companies is going to have a major miss, and they are going to fall a ton after their earnings. So Meta is reporting earnings next week on April 26th. So I think that's next Thursday. And then NVIDIA is not reporting until another month, so we can't really count them. But Microsoft might be reporting soon. Let's see, they're reporting 425, so the day before. And all of these big tech names have led the rally year to date. So if one of these big tech stocks miss and drags the NASDAQ down and all the other big tech names down, then we could see a pretty significant decline for the S&P and the NASDAQ over the next couple of weeks, depending on if one of these big companies misses. Where do I think SPY will be today? I think it's going to be either down or neutral from where we're trading right now, which is 411. So my guess, we're probably going to end the day below 412.30 is this resistance up top. Maybe you could see 413 or 412.80. That's where I think the top would be. I think there's going to be a lot of selling pressure today after Tesla's earnings. So, and another important news, we had the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index coming in much worse than expected, negative 31.3 versus negative 19.2 expected, and then the continuing jobless claims came in at 1.865 million people total unemployment versus 1.82 million expected. So pretty sizable surprise to the upside for the jobless claims report this morning. But right now, everything is still kind of hanging down there. I do have a lot of bearish trades on the table that I want to take off. Let's see. I opened a Tesla call credit spread, assuming that it would be below 185. I'm not sure I have to worry about that trade since it's down 8%. But I do have some QQQ call credit spreads and SPY call credit spreads that I think could end up turning around if we get the trend that we've had the last couple of days where we've just reversed what the pre-market did. But I don't think that's going to be the case today. I think that we could possibly rally a little bit, but I think overall we're going to be down. I don't think that we're going to end up breaking even today. I think that was a way that they were using to bring the VIX down as much as possible. By breaking even every single day, you're going to send the VIX to newer and newer lows. And the VIX came down to a low of 16.17 yesterday, right before the close. And I ended up buying some UVixy calls right around here. Those are currently up by $80. I bought them at 26, and now they're going for 34. So I think I'm going to close out of those first. I opened 10 of them. The bid ask on them is kind of wide. I mean, they should just be going for the intrinsic value at least. It's trading at 383 and the ask is 384, so I don't know why I wouldn't be able to get the ask price for that. But yeah, that'll be my first trade for today, just in case they try to screw us over with the VIX again like they've been doing the last couple of days. Well, I can't get that trade going for some reason. I might just have to exercise the option and then sell the shares, because for some reason I'm not even getting the intrinsic value out of it for right now. But we're seeing a small recovery for SPY at 411.60, QQQ to 316.50. So, like I was saying, we could see a small rally here, but I don't think that it'll be sustainable at the end of the day like we've seen the last couple of days of trading. I think our top for the day would probably be around, for QQQ, I would say maybe the 317.64 mark, and then for SPY, 412.90 or so is my guess. All right. Well, I couldn't take profits on the UVixy trade. For some reason, they're not even going for the intrinsic value. Maybe they are now. My only other option, if I can't get the intrinsic value for them, is to just exercise and then sell the shares. VIX is pulling back. It was up something like 6% this morning at 1760 almost, and now it's down to 1715. So dropping pretty quick on the opening bell with this small rally that we're getting here. All right, well, gotta love the VIX. All right, there we go. I ended up closing them at 31. So not a lot of profit, not as much as I was expecting out of it, but I'll take it. That'll be my first trade for the day. Closing options alert, premium. Just took profits on the UVixy call expiring tomorrow at 31 each. And I originally picked those up at 26. Let me see. Let me double check. But yeah, UVixy's coming down pretty quick on that opening bell with this slight recovery that we're getting. And I still got a lot of bearish trades that would take advantage of any downside move, so not too worried there. All right, so I bought them at 26 each. So 60 profit on that trade. 411 put credit spread expiring for today. It could work out. Let's see. SPY is trading at 411.71. My guess is that we're going to be bearish or neutral. So we're either coming down from here or we're just staying below 413 is my guess. So I wouldn't personally want to be in a 411 put credit spread, but to each their own. All right. I do have a 416 call credit spread for SPY expiring for tomorrow that are going for 11 cents. So if we do get decent bit of recovery from 412 to 416, which is about 1% between today and tomorrow, if volatility is going to work in both directions, I'd want to close that one today possibly. And then looking at the QQQ call credit spread, I'm more concerned about that one than I am for the SPY, just because it's only $3 away or like $2.50 away from being back in the money. So I think I want to take profits on that one versus the SPY. So order of operations, gonna take profits on QQQ before I do for SPY. And QQQ is getting a good rally here, so don't want to hold that momentum. I opened 10 of these at 45. They're going for 27, 28. I'll get out at 28. I'm not going to get too greedy with it, because I'm sure if I do, then it just won't get filled. But there we go. Closing options alerts, premium. Just took profits on the QQQ call credit spread expiring tomorrow, which is the 21st at 28 each. And my strike prices that I chose were 319, 320. I still think that QQQ could have some more selling pressure after Tesla and Netflix earnings beating, but then dropping their stocks. But Apple is just recovering a shit ton, even with that. So seems to be a lot of optimism in Apple for sure. Almost trading at the yearly highs, or I think it's all-time highs for Apple, at like 175 or something like that. 176.15 is the yearly high, and I think that's the all-time high. So, yeah, I think that Apple has a ways to pull back, but there's still a lot of people just wanting to buy this, even with the first couple of big tech earnings coming in bad. Seems like everybody is hopeful that Apple is going to outperform. Their earnings isn't until May 4th, so they still have a couple of weeks for this. But, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch Apple at all-time highs coming in with a worse earnings than they were doing last year, I'm sure. Tech earnings across the board is going to be down in a year-over-year comparison, and it's crazy that they're trading at yearly highs, but where did my QQQ put? That one I ended up taking a loss for. I think I took 3 of 3 losses yesterday in my day trades, so didn't have a good time day trading. I ended up doing a QQQ put, I think. Let me see. I'll go to the trades that I made yesterday. They were all losses across the board. So pretty shitty day, but let's see. I bought the 319 put for 204, and then I ended up... No, that's not the right one. Got lucky yesterday's 317 put I bought for 372 and ended up selling at 234. So that one was $138 loss for me. And then after that, I followed it up with a call option that I should have held because I was following momentum, but I bought it for 324, sold it for 240 for like a $86 loss, I think. So yeah, and then third trade, took a SPY put, trying to bet against the momentum this time, 320, and then sold it for 240. So that one was about an $80 loss too. So yesterday, pretty crappy day, but today looking a lot better. Up 800. So breaking even the last couple of days, and watching the trades that I still have open. Looks like Netflix, these are trading for 192, almost $200 a piece. They're almost at max profit right now. I still have another $100 that I can gain out of this or so. But let's see, I spent how much? I spent 109 for each of them, and they're going for 202, so I basically double my money here. Don't want to get overly greedy and watch Netflix rebound if you see like Apple leading the market to the upside. Don't want to be caught in that trade. So probably close out of this one here. I bought 3 of them at 109. They're going for 190 now. It's about $200 of profit. 250 in profit. The bid ask on them is pretty wide, making this trade harder to get out of. That's ridiculous that they're going for 170. I would have expected them to be higher, but like they were just going for 200, so tricky. 420 in the Starship test is already a better day. Oh yeah, I didn't even get to watch that. Have they SpaceX launched the... Yeah. They had a success getting the Starship and booster rocket off the ground. Nice. First fully integrated flight of both vehicles. Did they end up landing it yet? It's funny that they did it on 420. That's just fate. But next generation Starship. Yeah, SPY is coming back up right now. 412 at the moment, up from 411 at the pre-market lows. 410.87. Still thinking that we're going to be below 413, but you would definitely be betting against momentum if you're doing that. So this market seems to be all about daily momentum. Not a trade that I would want to make. Okay. I'm going to close the Netflix trade. Hopefully at a good price, but not looking like I'm going to get a good price for it. Let me go to Aries, see if they can give me a good bid-ask spread that I can base off of. Netflix. VIX is down to 1690, so this one's dropping pretty quick. I'm glad that I got out of UVIXy because those are going for a few dollars cheaper now. But going over to Aries and Netflix options expiring for the 21st, I ended up buying the puts. 325 sold to 320, 250. And they're telling me that this is going for 170 at the ask and 185 for the bid. Well, that sucks. Even on Aries, not getting the price that I would have wanted. But I bought them for 109. They're going for 170 each. So 170 minus 109, 61 times 3, about $180 of profit that I'll get from that. Maybe a little bit more. Now that bid is 175. So maybe if they'll spare me some change. Oh, they actually did. Nice. Very, very nice. I got 528 for 3 of them. Just took profits on the Netflix put debit spread expiring tomorrow, 421 at 528 over 3, 176 each. And I originally snagged those at 109, so 176 minus 109, 67 times 3, $201 of profit. 201 profit. Okay. Very nice day to be a bear. And I decided to go pretty much all in on bearish positions right before the close yesterday. Based on the VIX mostly, trading so low in the VIX expiration date, I figured that the reason why they kept moving the markets, up and down in the pre-market and then during the day was to keep the VIX as low as possible for the VIX expiration. And it, worked really well, bringing it down to 16 from, as high as 30 when everybody was buying VIX calls. So what they wanted to do, I think, is get the VIX as low as possible, make sure that everybody who was buying calls over the last month lost their shirt, lost all their money, and they were successful doing that. So now that the VIX expiration is over, they don't have that same incentive to continue to have the markets trading flat as they have been for the last 5 days in a row. So took that VIX trade, only made like $50 profit, so a little bit disappointed there, but VIX is hard to really trade, I would say, unless you're just trading regular VIX calls. VIXy is a little bit sketchy, but where do I think SPY might end up for tomorrow? Let's see, we're trading at 412 right now. We don't have any major earnings, so I don't think we're going to get much panic like we did with Tesla today. Let's see. Let me check eWhispers, though. Let's see if we have any big earnings for today after hours. Usually Thursdays have some pretty big names, but I'm not sure about this week. All right, there we go. We have PPG, Seagate, CSX, First Financial Bank, P&G tomorrow morning. So basically earnings for this week at least is not going to be too eventful. So I think that we're going to be trading either, I would say pretty flat for the next couple of days. You might see a little bit of upside just based on, I feel like Apple going up. I feel like that's kind of pushing the rest of the market up just because of its weight being a $2 trillion company. So my guess would probably end this week between 410 at the lowest and maybe 413 or 414. That would be the range that I would expect us to be in. So $2 in either direction, about 0.5%. But considering that tomorrow is the big expiration date, the monthly options expiration, you could see some good volatility in either direction. So do be aware of that. Yeah, the financials for Tesla are looking worse and worse with their free cash flow going. I think it was only 400 million versus the expectations was like 3.2 billion, which was kind of outrageous. They did like 1.7 billion dollars in free cash flow last year, so I don't know why Wall Street would expect 3.2 billion, like almost a doubling. Oh, looks like SpaceX ended up exploding. Oh man, that sucks. I'll have to watch the recap of that. That really sucks though. At least it didn't blow up on the launch pad. Failed rocket separation. Interesting. Thoughts on AT&T earnings? Oof. Ooh, AT&T, what happened? So their earnings ended up coming in at, let's see, 60 cents versus 57 cents expected. So they had a good earnings. It's kind of like a similar Tesla story. Had a good earnings, but coming down, and they're less profitable now than they were a year ago. So earnings has come down by 17 cents versus 77 cents a year ago, so about 20%. So what you're seeing is these stocks that are trading, relatively close to their 52-week highs, not doing as well as they were last year. So they're giving up that multiple that they've gained for the better part of the last 6 months. Basically, ever since October and the lows, they've just been gaining more and more price to earnings ratio, price to sales. And now that, the reality is kicking in that these companies aren't posting really great earnings, then stocks are coming down with that. AT&T is down 7%, which is a lot more than what the market's expected. The worst expectations was $19 for the end of this week. So people are selling the crap out of AT&T. Do I use Bookmap? No, I do not. Do not use the Bookmaps. All right. My call credit spreads for SPY are going for 10 cents. I got 8 of them that I can make about $160 a profit on right now. Not really much other profits I can make for today once I get out of that position, because my Tesla call credit spread is also worthless at this point. So let's see. I still have about $80 that I can make in this trade, but I would rather just get out at 10 cents just in case we have a crazy rally today or tomorrow. Don't want to risk it. Just took profits on the SPY call credit spread expiring tomorrow, 4/21 at 10 each. Strike prices were 416, 417. Let's see. The VIX might be popping back up. 17, 18 right now. Let's check in on the SPY price level, see where we ended up getting that little pivot at. 412.30. So where we had a lot of volume early morning yesterday is where we ended up selling off the high. So momentum is starting to shift down. IWM is still hanging up there. Still down 0.6% though. And then QQQ is at 317.16. So QQQ coming up on a resistance at about 317.50. We'll see if we end up getting rejected or if we keep on moving up. Seems to be a lot of buying pressure for QQQ, probably thanks to Apple. Like I said, people are just relentless in buying Apple, even with bad Tesla, bad Netflix earnings. People don't care. If you're looking at the other big names, Meta is up a little bit, still down 0.3%, but rallying this morning. So unless you have reported earnings, you're not going down yet. That's what it seems like. Do I lose sleep doing this? I lose sleep because I have a newborn, not because of the stock market. Self-destructed to avoid the damage on the ground. Yeah, I think that Elon was talking about as long as it doesn't blow up on the launch pad, then it's a success. So I really wanted to see them use that arm though in order to catch it. That would have been dope. All right, I'll take profits on my call credit spreads for Tesla too. $5 each. I snagged it for $190 yesterday. Closing options alert. Wish I'd put on more on that trade, but that's okay. Just took profits on the Tesla call credit spread expiring tomorrow, 4/21 at 0.5 each. Strike prices were 185, 190. So I could hold it for another $10 of profit, but not really much point to it. Kind of thinking of just trading Apple to the upside, since it is just relentlessly going up. But we're testing that resistance I was talking about this morning. Well, 317.50 for QQQ, and for SPY, I think we're still off. My resistance was 413 that I'm looking at, 412.90 or so. So still a ways to get back up there. All right. So now I don't have any more trades that I can take profits for. So let's look for some new ones. All right, SPY's at 411.50. QQQ is still headed up though, so that's why I'm hesitant to take any more bearish trades. Unless QQQ ends up giving up its rally, but like I'm saying, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, the companies that haven't reported earnings yet, are still doing really well. They're still buying the dip on them. But the companies that did report earnings, Netflix, Tesla, are both down. Actually, Netflix is recovering a bit. So I'm glad that I got out of that trade when I did. It's at 324 now, and I was assuming that it would be below 322. So good to get out of that trade while I did. The VIX is making its way back up. 1730 now. Let's see what UVIXY is up to. 385. 384 right now. Start of the day at 386. Kind of tempted to short VIX here, but there's not really any short opportunities for the VIX since the strike price is so far away. The next strike price is $4, so even if I sold a call there, I'm only getting $6 in credit. If I sell next month's expiration, then I get 43 cents. Still not a lot. Feeling an iron condor right now. Under 413. Maybe above 410. Momentum for QQQ is still up, so if you want to take a bullish trade, I would think QQQ would be your best bet. Despite Tesla being down. Tesla being down 7%. All right, let me look at the iron condor or a call credit spread for SPY. See which one is more worthy. 413 call credit spread for SPY right now is paying almost 20 cents. That's a decent credit for as far as it is away from the strike price. And that's assuming that we don't end up recovering like we did the last couple of days. So far, we're not looking as bullish as we did first thing in the morning. We got a little bit of a rally and then dipped after the first 10-15 minutes. So they ended up giving up the rally. So I think that I'm going to take on this call credit spread, assuming SPY below 413. And then adding in a put credit spread, assuming over 410, you're getting a total of 34 cents in credit. For an iron condor, that's $3 wide. So you're only getting an extra $15 or so from the puts. I think I just want to take the call credit spread. If we do end up going back to where we closed yesterday, that would land us at, let's see, 414.21. So that's part of my concern with this trade is if we do end up having the same trend that we've had the last couple of days where we rallied in the pre-market just to give it all back, or the drop in the pre-market just to gain it all back, this trade would end up taking max loss. So And right now you're betting against momentum with QQQ rallying still at 65 RSI and with SPY at 60 RSI. Don't think this trade is worth it yet until we get a shift in momentum. So I'll wait. Do I think SPY will fall today? I think that it'll be either flat or down, yeah. AMX is leverage, I think, arbitrage traders. But really just fools. Yeah, if people start defaulting on their credit card debt, then it's going to be pretty rough for Amex. What is their ticker symbol? American Express. AXP, right? Whew. Yeah, they got crushed on their earnings. 167 down to 154, but recovering back to 160. So pretty sizable gap down. Their earnings came in at 240 versus 260 expected, so a miss on earnings per share. And down from last year. That's interesting. Down from last year. You would have expected American Express, the credit card company that's charging you now 25% interest, or instead of like 15% interest last year, would be doing a lot better. But that's why you're gapping down this morning, I guess. They definitely miss expectations. Is Tesla a buy at 170? I'm not a huge fan of it. I do have it in my portfolio for the long term, but my purchasing price is like 130. So not really too concerning for me since I'm still up about $40 a share. I do think that over the next year, Tesla's probably going to have some selling pressure just because they're trying to lower their prices in order to be competitive, not only with other electric vehicle makers. Obviously, they're already competitive there. They have the lowest prices in America, but they're trying to be competitive with their internal combustion engine, ICE alternatives, regular vehicles. So if they're trying to compete with these cars that have been around for hundreds of years and, they've been working on making them as cheap as possible for so long, it's going to be pretty hard on their margins to keep bringing down these prices. And we saw that with their earnings per share coming in at 85 cents versus 119 just a quarter ago, right? So their earnings per share dropped about 30% because they ended up dropping their prices by 20% for their vehicles. And they only sold about 5% more vehicles. So if that trend continues, it's going to put more and more selling pressure on Tesla for the next year. QQQ is almost a break even now. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up breaking even again for QQQ. For SPY, maybe not so much. SPY is still down 0.5%, whereas QQQ is only down 0.25% for right now. So glad that I got out of my call credit spread for QQQ. I kind of want to just trade an individual name rather than QQQ just to take advantage of that. Apple's at 167. The high was 168 yesterday in the close. Just about where we're trading now at 167. 62. So I still think that there's a lot of people wanting to buy into Apple, Meta, and again, the names that haven't reported their earnings. Now, whether that's justified or not, I would say no. I think that there will be more selling pressure, but the markets don't really care about the upcoming earnings. They only care about the earnings that have already happened. Tesla and Netflix. So could see some rally for Meta, Apple, Microsoft. Not getting as much love as those two names. Nvidia, possibly. Yep. Nvidia is at 280. So people keep buying this like there's no tomorrow. So I feel like trading one of these individual names would probably be a better bet than trading QQQ. Choosing the strike price is where I'll have trouble at. Let's see. Apple trading at 167 right now. If we assume that it's going to go to a new 2-day high, that would be 168. If we buy a 165 call, it's going for 260 as of right now. So your break even is 167.50. That's not that far away from its break even. Might not be bad. But there is going to be a lot of probably selling pressure starting about 167.40 based on this volume that you had yesterday right before the close and everybody's selling into it. If Apple can't manage to get into that range, then I would expect a pullback for QQQ, but we'll see. Looking into 167, 170 call credit spread expiring for tomorrow. You're only getting paid $75 in credit, taking on $175 in risk. So risk reward there isn't great. If you assume that it's going to come down, take the opposite trade to that. Maybe you could see 166. So if you're looking at put options, you could buy the 167.50 put for 113 right now for a break even of 166.40, or the 170 put that's going for 300 right now is break even of 167. So if we assume a pullback for Apple after hitting these volume levels at 167.30, we could take advantage of a little bit of downside. But you're betting against a trend there. So right now the trend is your friend and you don't want to make it your enemy. Probably sell off tomorrow at 9:45. I think, yeah, we have PMI coming out, so that could be a catalyst, but markets are just relentlessly buying Apple and all the big tech names. So that's where you're getting most of the rally from, is Apple trading near all-time highs, Meta trading near 52-week highs, Microsoft trading near 52-week highs. Basically, any big tech name, Nvidia trading at 280, any big tech name is just rallying like no other. So that's where you want to watch out for. And once these companies start coming in with either at expectations like Netflix and Tesla, they're going to come down. Or if they miss on earnings, they're going to come down majorly. So, but that's, 2, 3, some of these even 4 weeks away, with Nvidia not reporting until May 24th. So got a long way to wait for the tech market to correct down. But yeah, I think that's all the trades that I'll get for y'all today. Doesn't seem to be much opportunity unless you're taking the upside. And if we go back to break even, that's 414 for SPY. Just not convinced that we're going to rally just because of the VIX expiration date yesterday. I think that the suppression of the VIX is probably over. Don't think that the VIX would come back down to the low 16s, but anything is possible in this market. So that's all the trading I got for y'all today, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow at 9:30. See you, everybody.